PechaKucha. I follow the pink people too. Okay, we're ready. So 10,000 photos I took of my bedroom, merging landscape and the room. There were emotional and architectural reasons for such an excess. And I got to make spaces that I'd never made before and no client would ever let me. And so then I sold my house and I went on a fellowship to Italy. It was an eroded hill town, connected to its surroundings only by this thin, tenuous pedestrian bridge. And I was there for a month. And what did I do? I merged landscape and the town this time. And it was a wonderful thing. And then I came back to my brand new apartment on the 4th floor, overlooking Walgreens and the Shaw's parking lot. And I was like, what am I going to do? How can I merge? No matter how much I tried, I could not merge landscape and room with the rubber roof and all the parking lot stuff. So I lost my mojo, I lost my modus operandi, and I had to come up with some new way of seeing and making. So I looked down from my balcony one winter night, and suddenly it looked very interesting in this alleyway. And there was the curve of the snow, of the tires in the snow, and the plow and the salt. And I began to think, well, maybe there's something here. And eventually I began to find these incredibly beautiful patterns that were very rich, tire paintings, salt drawings, and freeze-thaw cycles. And at first I was totally enraptured just by the patterns. And over time, as I began to see more, I actually saw more and different things. So you want to go to Daedalus for a drink and dinner? No, I have to go home and see what presents my Pavement has left me for tonight. I'm kind of not a one photograph type of person. I always work in series. Series is something that's sweet. So I was like caught up in this series and it was getting serious. So I'm not a morning person, but every morning at dawn, I'd leap out of bed, I'd lean out my Romeo and Juliet balcony, and I'd point my lens, which is risky business since I don't wear pajamas. But I figured the Walgreens delivery guy is not going to be casting his eyes up to the sky. Over time, things changed. The patterns seemed to disappear, and I don't know if it was me or the change in the weather, but suddenly I was seeing figures instead of patterns. And being an architect, figure ground is like the Holy Grail. It's just a wonderful, fabulous thing to see. And so I was finding these figures in the snow. And when the southern sun was low, I would see light reflecting off the windows, and at night, the lights coming through the trash enclosure were quite interesting. And I don't know why I named this series Pavement, because pavement is essentially inert. It doesn't really have any character unless it's interacting with something. So when the muse hits, the muse changes you. And it also changes the way you use your tools. I'm generally a wide-angle type of person. I shoot big spaces. And I found myself, of course, I'm on the 4th floor balcony, using a telephoto and a zoom lens to find these shapes and these colors. Very abstract. Now, the pavement itself is inert, but the snow blanket isn't. And there's this kind of dance that happens in dialogue between the weather, and there's this decisive moment that happens in time when suddenly the design is revealed. So I was not going out anymore. I was literally just sitting waiting for the decisive moment to happen. And so then I was looking at figures, but suddenly the figures, they began to change too. They became characters telling stories. So the bottom right one, I'm like thinking that's Plato or Buddha or a saint meeting with students. And the upper right one, it's Moses about to cast down the 10 Commandments and break them. And I'll let you decide the one on the left. And then one night, these alien beings appeared, which to me, I felt they were benign, that they were like the aliens that came in the film Arrival, and that they were here to communicate with me. But they could have been from the Game of Thrones, and they could have been hell-bent on destruction. So I began to think that the stories that are being told, they might only happen if those stories are already inside you. So for me, like, when I look at this image, I see all the different paintings of the flight from Egypt. But you may see a different story, or you may not see anything at all except squiggly things on the pavement. I've been obsessed with 1,300 years of paintings of the Annunciation and the patterns in it. And most people don't realize that Santana's second album, Abraxas, was an Annunciation, made, I think, in 1989 or something like that. Or no, actually, the painting went back. But this actually was my first Annunciation that I was able to pull off. So my pavement paintings, I don't know why, but they connect me with all of the places and the paintings and images that I love, including the top right from Giotto, which is eroding. And that painting is eroding, and my pavement paintings eroded much quicker on a very quick basis. So I don't quite know why my insignificant alleyway is sponsoring these kind of images that attract me so much. But it really felt to me, in a very moving way, that I was connecting with my past, that I was making things related to the past, but hopefully they stand on their own and that they're really mine. So the pavement ended when the weather severed the connection between the asphalt and the snow. But those emotional and architectural reasons for creating were still there, and these supplicants still seem to want something. But I'm essentially kind of inert. I need interaction in order for an art to have. So I looked down at my sheets one morning, and I'm thrashing in my sleep so much that I'm unconsciously carving these bas-relief sculptures into my sheets. And so I think that's major grade interaction. So at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm pretty much done. In fact, I stopped thrashing around, so even these aren't happening. And but the nice thing is that even if the Walgreens guy casts his eyes upward, he can't see me naked now making these photos. And it's come full circle. I started out in my bedroom, and I'm finishing in my bedroom. And now that I'm not thrashing around, I'm not sure what will be my next series or project. Thank you.